Well, why don't we begin? Why don't we get started as we share share the next 75 minutes or so, the next hour, 75 minutes together.
Remind everyone, if you're not already, just to make sure that you're muted so that you should feel free to sing along if you'd like. And that way we won't experience any interruptions in the sound. So just make sure that you're muted um, and you'll be able to sing along. We're going to get started now with the Nigun, so you don't need to worry about the words. Feel free to sing along with me.
Good evening, dear friends. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Rabbi Rick Schechter, and that's Cantor Alyssa Rosenbaum. We're honored to be with you as tonight we all join our hearts in love and in remembrance of our dear friend, Linda Luna. We're so deeply grateful for Linda's kindness and her friendship and her love and her big heart, as people are saying in the chat box. And I want to encourage everybody to continue to express your thoughts and feelings in the chat box. We will save this for Leonard so this can be a beautiful keepsake for him and for the family. Tonight we celebrate Linda's life. We mourn her death. Together tonight, we'll share prayers and we'll share heartfelt stories of Linda as we retell and relive the joy that she brought us all. Linda's death 5.5 weeks ago filled us all with shock and deep, deep sadness. We wanted so much more time with her. Today is her 67th birthday. Today is Leonard's birthday. We wanted so much more time with Linda, yet Linda's legacy and the life that she lived fill us with abiding appreciation and gratitude, which tonight we share with each other. As we join with Linda's beloved life partner, Leonard, and with Linda's beloved family, and with Linda's many, many dear friends. We all embrace Leonard We embrace Linda's cousins, Vicky and Olivia. We embrace Linda's sister-in-law, Carol, and Leonard's brother, Sidney, and Leonard's cousins, Rita and Barbara and Ray and Eileen. We embrace Linda and Leonard's entire family, near and far, and we all join as Linda's dear friends and as her beloved community, of which Linda was an integral part and that she so generously served. Together, we honor her life. We celebrate the life and legacy of our beloved Linda. The Jewish tradition in the biblical book of Proverbs speaks of an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. We all know Linda as a woman of remarkable valor, a tremendously generous and kind and courageous person who gave of herself fully to everyone she encountered. We know Linda's deep love and devotion to Leonard and to her family and to her friends and to her Temple Sinai community, its children, its women and men, and Linda's extraordinary devotion to the literally thousands upon thousands of people in the community that Linda served and worked for and led at the local and city and county and state and national level. As we listen to the timeless words of Proverbs, we think of how they so remarkably describe Linda, who she was, and how she lived. Eshet Chayil mi yimsa, a woman of valor who can find. She is more precious than rubies. Her family and her friends and her community trust in her, and so they lack nothing. She does them good all the days of her life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need and extends her hand to the poor and to so many others. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom. The law of kindness is on her lips. Her beloved and her family rise up and bless her. The community sings her praises. Many women have done valiantly, but you, Linda, you excel them all. Psalm 23, as many of you know, is a profound, it's a heartfelt prayer. Its healing wisdom reminds us that as we walk through this dark valley right now, we are not alone. God is with us, offering comfort and strength. Family and friends are beside you, near and far, offering their loving embrace. My cup overflows, says the psalmist. Linda's inspiring and sacred cup of life indeed overflowed with blessings, great and small, blessings that brought Linda happiness and fulfillment. Her blessings brought us happiness and fulfillment. How Linda's cup flowed into ours, her love, her kindness, her goodness, it all nourished us. So perhaps we can say, like the psalmist, even at a time such as this, that our cup in truth overflows with love for Linda. Cantor will chant a beautiful version of Psalm 23, and then we'll all join in, each in our own space. We'll all join in reciting the English that will be shared on the screen.
Adonai ro'i lo echsar bin od sheyar b'tzeini al mei menuchat yenach aleini nafshi yishovei v'shovei yancheini b'magalei tzedek yancheini b'magalei tzedek l'ma'an shemo gan ki elech begait samavet lo yara ki ata imadi shivtecha umishatecha heima yinachamuni Ta'arach lefanai Shulchan neged zorai Dishanta Hashem roshi kosi revaya Ach tov v'chesed yirfuni kol yemei chayai v'shavti beveit Adonai le'orech yamim Adonai ro'i lo echsar Adonai ro'i lo echsar
Let's join together. We invite you again, of course, to stay unmuted, and but please recite these words at home. Please join me. With God as my shepherd, I shall not want. The Eternal makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside the still waters, restores my soul, guides me in straight paths for the sake of God's name. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Eternal forever. To celebrate Linda's life, we're now so honored to call upon Linda's beloved life partner, Leonard Cash.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me and the rabbi and everybody else today for Linda's memorial kind of celebration of her life. Her passing has been a lot more difficult than I ever expected it to be. I didn't expect it at all, actually. And Linda and I met about, oh, I guess about 18 years ago at a labor fundraiser. I was president of my union at the time, and it was a Sunday afternoon. I was working at the office because I worked long hours, like 72 hours a week with negotiations. So I was in La Cañada and I stopped off there, and Linda was in charge of admitting people. They charge for fundraisers, and she wound up coming up to me later, and we chatted for a little while. And during that time, she had asked somebody, and she got called up front again, and I was talking with other people. And it was a fundraiser for an organization called LACLA. It's Los Angeles chapter of Latin American Advancement is what it was. And a lot of my members were Hispanic, so I thought I should join the supported labor movement. I belong to the Jewish Labor Alliance and a bunch of other organizations, as did Linda. In fact, Linda was a member of the Jewish Labor Committee for about 10 years before I ever met her. And then I joined. Anyways, she gave her business card to my administrative assistant, unbeknownst to me. And Monday I'm back at work, and my assistant Lydia handed it to me with Linda's phone number on the back. And I was directed to call her. I was kind of flattered, and I called her the next day, Tuesday. I was busy. And I invited her out for dinner. We chatted, and I invited her out for dinner on a Friday to Shamshiri Persian restaurant, which is 5 blocks from the temple. And I love Persian food. And it turned out she did too. They closed the restaurant around us. We were there for a good 3 hours. And we really hit it off. We both had the same birth date, we discovered, and our mothers had the same first name, Bernice, which was kind of unusual. And we started going out, and within 4 months, we got together. That was kind of that. And we were involved in a lot of union stuff. Linda was involved with labor organizations and political organizations. I was too, but not as involved as she was in the political side of stuff. In fact, one of our speakers today is going to be Representative Judy Chu from Congress, who Linda worked on every one of her campaigns for about the last 25 or 30 years, whatever it's been. It was just a good matchup for me and for her. And Linda made me feel that there was somebody in my corner all the time. It was a wonderful feeling. I hadn't had that before. I was used to living alone. And we traveled some. We went to San Francisco to visit my brother. We went back east for my nephew's bar mitzvah. We went to New York a few times. We went to Israel. We were guests of the Israeli government. And what most people don't know, including the Israelis, the largest holder of Israeli bonds are American labor unions. There were Israeli bonds before there was the state of Israel. And labor unions have pension programs for the workers, so they have to invest in stocks and bonds, and they invested in Israeli bonds. And it's kind of interesting how that goes. And so I was invited 3 times, and I had to turn them down the first few times because I was too busy. I couldn't get away. But when I retired, I was invited again. I was in the board of the Jewish Labor Committee, and Linda and I went. We had a wonderful time. It was great. They kind of put us up in 4-star and 5-star hotels. They had parties for us at the universities, at Technion and some others. And we spent an hour and a half with Shimon Peres in the Knesset. We did all kinds of stuff. And also we were involved with the temple. Linda converted to Judaism. And I found out that she had told her family when she was about 18 or 19 that she was going to convert to Judaism. But that didn't happen until about 25 years later, or 40 years later, when she met me. And she told me she was taking classes at University of Judaism, and she wanted to know if I joined her in the classes. And I said, of course. And those were a lot of fun with Rabbi from Sinai Temple on Wilshire, Rabbi Dershowitz. And you all know his nephew, Alan Dershowitz, the attorney. And we got involved. We went, checked out several temples. We found Temple Sinai of Glendale the most welcoming and warm, and we joined here. We got involved. Over the next several years, Linda was, well, she immediately became a member of Sisterhood, and I joined Brotherhood, and she became, over the years, co-president of Sisterhood a couple of times, and in charge of just about every committee or organization that the temple had. Membership, new members who've just converted, the onigs, the events in the social hall, and she got me involved too. I like to cook. And when I was in Brotherhood, I told the Sisterhood that Brotherhood wants to cook, and they said, no, men don't know how to cook. And I said, I can cook. And we wound up cooking dinners here. And they said that I didn't understand why on family services once a month, the families came, but there were no kids to the dinner. And they said, kids are fussy eaters. They won't eat what the adults fix. And so I said, that's okay. And they let me cook. And no matter what I made, I always had grilled hot dogs on the menu. Even the cantor at the time would ask me, Cantor Hummel would ask me if I was cooking so he knew he could bring his kids because they'd eat the grilled hot dogs. And I also cheated. I put the exhaust fans over the stove so the smell would go out into the parking lot. As soon as they opened their car, they could smell the grilled hot dogs before they came into the temple. And so they were ready to eat. And I made all kinds of Jewish dishes too. I made things like my mother fixed. I'd made corned beef and cabbage in March. I'd make chicken, grilled chicken and garlic chicken, and I'd make just a lot of other dishes, and always grilled vegetable Persian style, where you grill them in hot olive oil so they're nice and crisp with lots of garlic and seasoning. And the parents would come up to me and say, Leonard, how come my children eat your vegetables when they don't eat them at home? And I always tell them the same answer, because you overeat them. And Linda always helped me cook as well as the men with Brotherhood. But this isn't about me, this is about Linda. Linda got me involved helping her do the onyx. So we did that all the time, and we'd go shopping for all the cheeses and cookies and candies and stuff like that. And Linda had a way with people. She was so disarming how she could talk to people and just calm them down and make them feel relaxed. I was amazed how she could do that over the telephone with people that were upset or agitated. It just, I didn't understand how she did that. I got to see it in person many, many times, especially dealing with union negotiations or grievances and stuff. And I'd see how women in the temple would come up to me and tell me the reason they joined Temple Sinai was because of Linda. They met her the first time they came, and she introduced herself and said, why don't you sit with us? And was very welcoming. And at the Onyx after the service on a Friday night, the people used to stay around for an hour. After an hour, we'd start flicking the lights because the staff wanted to go home and didn't want to be there all night. But people liked to schmooze and sit around, and people didn't do that before, not for an hour and a half. It was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed working with Linda. Loved working with the politicians and labor leaders, and it was amazing how she did all of that. And part of it is she had a couple mentors from her former employer, the phone company, who was also the fellow became president of the communications workers on the West Coast. And she just really got in touch with her Judaism, and she decided she wanted to be bat mitzvahed, and did that about 11 years ago. She was bat mitzvahed, and I was amazed that she had the gumption to do that. And I don't have a lot other to say. She just I miss her dearly, more than I expected. I thought I was independent. I thought I could be used to living alone. I just turned 77 today. Linda would have been 67. And it's very difficult. I'm going to miss her for the rest of my life. It's she was a sweetheart. And everybody that knew her said those things about her. She was one in a million. And now I'll turn it back to you, Rabbi.
Leonard, thank you so much for sharing those wonderful stories with Linda. And I know so many of us, you were bringing back such fond memories of Linda and you together. And it was so beshert, it was so meant to be that the two of you were together, and you complemented each other so beautifully, and you both flourished in each other's presence, and we flourished because of it. So thank you so much. Well, at this time, we are so very honored to call upon Linda's dear friend and United States Congress member representing the 27th District of California, Congressmember Judy Chu.
Well, thank you. And I also have my husband here, Mike Eng, who wanted to say a few words too, because both of us were touched by Linda, and we're so sad to hear of her passing. Well, Linda Luna had such a big heart. She gave her whole self to the people and the causes that she believed in. And I was lucky to be one of those persons. It was back in 2001. I was on the Monterey Park City Council when the state assembly seat opened up, and I decided to run. Now, it was tough going from a local office to a state office. You had to get support from important players, and I immediately ran up against the Old Boys Network. They had picked their favorite candidate, and it surely wasn't me. Things looked bleak. So my supporters and I mapped out the places where I could make inroads. And one of those possibilities was labor. I'd had a long history with labor as a 20-year member of the American Federation of Teachers, Local 1521. I'd supported many, many labor causes while on the city council, but I truly needed help getting to know all of labor so that I could get the threshold vote I needed for the all-important endorsement of the LA County Federation of Labor. So we turned to Linda Luna. Linda knew labor so well. She'd been an active member of her own union, CWA. She represented her local in negotiations, grievances, and organizing. But soon she went on to participate in so many campaigns to organize unions and improve conditions in the workplace. She came to know every corner of labor, and she was just the person I needed. She laid out the roadmap to labor's endorsement. She educated me on which issues were important to which union. She coached me on what things in my background would appeal to them. And she connected me to every single labor union. She was persistent, thorough, and dedicated. And wouldn't you know it, I finally did get the endorsement of the LA County Federation of Labor, and I won the assembly seat. But of course, that was not the end of my interaction with her. In fact, with that battle, I gained a friend for life. She continued to support me throughout my assembly years, then for my election to the Board of Equalization, and finally for my election to Congress. But the amazing thing is that I kept on seeing Linda at the events of so many union organizations. She continued to devote herself to a wide variety of diverse labor causes like the United Farm Workers, the Jewish Labor Committee, SEIU, and the Asian Pacific Labor Alliance. And then there was her devotion to fighting for a more just political system. She showed herself to be not only a great labor organizer, but an incredible organizer for the Democratic Party. I will never forget her dedication to getting out the vote at the United Democratic headquarters in Pasadena. She was fierce. I must say, I was just so thrilled when Linda met the love of her life, Leonard Cash. I could see that these two souls had so much in common and that they came together as one, and that they each provided so much support for one another. It was so gratifying to see them together and to see that true love exists. Linda was so clearly a person who loved all people and wanted to make sure that this was a society that would welcome all people. She wanted to make sure everybody, regardless of background, could have a high quality of life, and she put her actions where her heart was. She never stopped being involved and giving of herself. Linda Luna was truly an extraordinary bright light in our universe, and I will miss her.
Thank you, Judy. And Rabbi, with your permission, just a very brief addition. Leonard, you were so right that Linda helped Judy on every one of her campaigns, but she also helped me on my 3 campaigns as well. And Linda had this intuition. I never had to ask Linda. She would always call me at the moment of need and say, how can I help? So Linda, I remember that when Leonard got me this biggest Mike Ing for Assembly banner in the whole world, I didn't know what to do with it. So Linda came along and Linda helped me and Leonard put it up. In fact, it may still be up there to this very day. But Linda, I'm so sorry that you couldn't be here with us today. I so much wanted to wish you a happy birthday to my wonderful sister forever, to both you and Leonard. Thank you, Rabbi.
Well, thank you, Mike, so much. And thank you, Congressman Chu. Thank you both for being with us. We are honored to be with you and to hear these stories and the relationship that you shared, the friendship that you shared. And it's so inspiring and it's so moving. And I don't think a lot of people necessarily know this, know how helpful that Linda was to so many people. And her civic engagement was, exemplary, a model. She's a model for it. And we want to thank the two of you so much for being with us. You grace us and honor us with your presence. We know you have a very, very busy schedule. You keep a very busy schedule. So we understand if you need to leave soon. And again, we just want to thank you so much. And I do believe that Linda hears you. I do believe that she hears you. And she's got a big smile on her face and a big hug to give. So thank you again so much. Congressmember Chu, Mike, thank you. Thank you. Well, at this time, we are so very honored to call upon Linda's cousin, Vicky Armenta.
I am looking for Vicky among the people. Does anybody see her?
Let's take a look, Jason. Yeah, she may not have been able to find us tonight. We had a couple of links going around and it's possible that she may not. Well, so let's do this. If Vicky joins us in a little bit, we'll be calling upon Vicky. We certainly want to hear these stories of Linda's cousin Vicky. They grew up together, Linda and Vicky and the family, and they were like sisters. So, oh, is she under Olivia? Yeah, cousin Olivia. Ah, okay. That may be a different last name. Hello. Hi. Oh, we're so glad that you're here. Are you able to unmute?
Yes.
Hi, Vicky. Hi, Olivia.
Hello.
Rabbi.
Good to see you.
What I'm here today is to tell you a little bit about Linda. As everybody knows, she was born today to Jose and Bernice Armenta Luna, my aunt and my uncle. My father and her mother were siblings. Linda grew up in Montebello, and her parents were, her mom was a little strict, I guess I can say. Her dad treated her like a princess. Linda got everything she wanted. And the reason being is because she had a health issue with her hip and her leg. One was a little bit longer than the other. So she couldn't always play with us. But our families lived close. We were there every weekend. We celebrated every birthday, every holiday together. And our holidays were at Redondo Beach or up in Santa Barbara at Refugio Beach, Yosemite, camping in Big Bear or Crestline. We were always together. Our families were always together. I could remember times when she couldn't play because her parents wouldn't allow her to because of her health. So they ended up taking her to Shriners Hospital in order to correct her hip and her leg. After that, she became an independent little lady. She knew she couldn't get things done, and she did her own thing, and she played with the rest of us. Linda went to school throughout Montebello and graduated from high school in 1972. When she did this, her goal was to continue education, find a job, and move out. She wanted to be an independent person. But one thing, I'm going to step back. I'm going to say our parents are pretty cool because they let us go at the age of 13. She was 6 months younger than me to go see the Beatles at Dodger Stadium. And whose parents would at that time do that? But ours did. When she graduated from high school, she started working with the Pacific Bell, Pac Bell. And she did become a leader in the labor movement and her union, a steward, knowing all the ropes of what's going on, but also doing every single job she was assigned at the phone company. The phone company also gave her an education. She went back and earned her bachelor's in public administration, which all of us are very proud of her. Well, as Linda moved out, she became more independent, gaining more friends, knowing what she wanted. She spent many years with the phone company. Upon her retirement, then she went into her labor movement. And I hear Judy and Mike talk, and I can remember Linda calling us up on a Saturday. What are you doing today? And I'll go, nothing. Well, get ready because I need you over in Monterey Park because Judy's going to speak or Mike's going to speak. So we would go and we would support her, even though we couldn't vote for them because they were out of our district, but we were there. We were always there for her. Pac Bell was a good employment for her career and knowing everything that was going on, her strategies. She made, I know, and listening to others, so many good friends in that labor movement and her political career, I should say. But one thing that also this brought was the best man for her. My uncle used to always take care of her and she was a princess. Well, Leonard did the same thing. We cannot thank Leonard enough for coming into her life at a time that she was looking for someone, because for a while she was a lost soul. And then finding him was just magic. He was just absolutely wonderful. We want to thank him for everything that he has done for her and has taken care of her.
and has helped her along. And I know that love is always there, will always be there. I will constantly miss Linda, and I still do. We talk to her, my sister and I, every day. I will miss her weekly check-ins and texts or call. So how you doing today? Or how's Lynn doing? I will miss our dinners together. I will miss the theater. I will miss our Dodger games. We were raised not as cousins, but as sisters. And it doesn't get any easier for me and Olivia because we truly miss her. She's a good person. She loved everybody. She loved her work. She loved what she did. She loved her campaign. She made us walk the streets and get out the vote. We did whatever we could for her because she did whatever she could for us. Leonard, we thank you. Linda, we love you. We missed you. It's unfortunate that our family has lost 4 cousins since January 1st, female cousins. And every loss really hurts us. But Linda was our sister. As my sister said, we were supposed to grow old together, but I told her older together. Linda, I love you. We love you. We miss you. We still will always talk to you. You will be our guidance. Thank you.
And thank you, Vicky and Olivia. Thank you both so much. And we are so sorry for your losses. We are so sorry for your losses. And what loving sisters, the 2 of you, and Linda, the 3 of you all, what loving sisters you are. We know that you all have been to the temple before, and I guess watching the 2 of you and knowing how close you were with Linda, I'm hoping that when it's safe for us to gather back in the synagogue, when that time is safe and when it's safe for us to eat together in the social hall, it would be so great if you all would join us and we can all give you a hug if it's safe to do so. And Linda will be with us. Linda will be with us. And Leonard, hopefully we'll be able to cook some delicious food that night too. And it'll be a loving reunion. Thank you again, Vicky and Olivia. Thank you. Well, let's take a moment and be comforted by the words of the psalmist. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from the eternal, the maker of heaven and earth and love and all the wonderful things in this world that we've enjoyed with Linda. Thank you, Cantor. Well, we are going to continue our celebration of life, Linda's celebration of life. And we are so honored to continue to hear from dear friends and family members. At this time, we are so very honored to call upon Linda's close friend for over 35 years, a political consultant and a colleague of Linda's, Mr. Bill Hackett.
Hi, a good evening, everyone. I'm just so honored to be here and to be able to say a few words about Linda. Linda was just such a dear and caring individual, and I've known her for so many years, and it's just hard to speak in terms because it's hard to believe that she's gone. Linda and I, aside from a close friendship, shared this crazy political world where we worked together. And you heard from Congresswoman Judy Chu, and you heard from Mike. And Linda and I worked back in 2002, for example, at the United Democratic headquarters in Pasadena. And Linda and I would get to the headquarters some mornings at 7 a.m. And for those of you who haven't worked in headquarters, it's a whirlwind. And Linda was our field director and responsible for contacting voters, both by phone, by door to door. And we would be there at 7 a.m. We would lie on the floor of my office so no one could tell we were in yet. And we would eat McDonald's and drink coffee to our heart's content. And some nights, many nights, we'd be there to 9 or 10 at night working. And there were a couple of occasions where Linda and I would get there to the headquarters at 7 a.m. and still be there at 2 a.m. the next morning, prepping for a big event or a rally. And Linda was always so calming and so kind. And I love the work I do. And sometimes the tension level can rise in you. But when Linda walked in the room, all of the tension would go right out of my system. And I would just be so happy and thankful that she was there with us. And we had to put on a huge event for Gray Davis and the International Firefighters. I think we had all of about a week to put it together. And Linda did it. And we had this rally. We had probably 400 people in the parking lot of the headquarters. We had a full piece band or orchestra. And, you know, Linda was always there. And she was always, not to mention all of the other work she had to do. And if you fast forward to 2016, Linda and I got to work together again. Now, we worked on many other projects for all those years. From 2002 on, there were so many campaigns, so many events that we did together. But in 2016, we again had the United Democratic headquarters in Pasadena. And Linda was so instrumental. And every morning I would pick Linda up in Silver Lake, and we would drive into the headquarters right on Lake Avenue in Pasadena, right across from Macy's. And Linda, at this point in life, was actually really just giving of her time and her talent. And she took on all kinds of responsibility, volunteering her time and making everyone feel welcome in that headquarters. And that was a headquarters, and you have to imagine that this was a headquarters where we made over 200,000 calls to voters. We hung 28,000 door hangers, knocked on 28,000 doors. And Linda would be there every morning with me. And we just enjoyed each other's company. We, again, that calming, wonderful influence. And, you know, and I think of just funny stories we would tell each other. You know, I have a spouse who has a godson, and his name, Tyler Levine. And when he was young, he couldn't say his name. He'd say Tyler DeBean. My name is Tyler DeBean. And Linda and I started calling each other. I was DeBill, she was DeLinda. And, you know, it sounds silly, it sounds crazy, but, you know, that was were the things that kept us sane and kept us going. And also, I don't think I have ever had as much coffee and bagels with anyone else in my life. Linda and I would have bagels and coffee in these campaigns just about every day. And fortunately, in 2019, Linda came to help me. I was doing some house sitting. And so she came because I was doing a little campaign, and she would be there with me at the house. And if you went to Starbucks with Linda, she had the platinum titanium Uber card that would, and she'd look at me and say, Billy, what do you want? And, you know, you couldn't order one thing. If I ordered a vanilla latte, I got 2 of them. If I ordered one bagel, I got 2 of them. So we, in addition to all this work we did, we shared these joyous times. And I always watched Linda, and I always noticed how kind she was to everyone. You know, whether it was the barista behind the counter, whether it was someone where we went into a restaurant, a host or hostess, whether we were in a headquarters and she saw somebody maybe who came into the headquarters who looked timid, Linda would always go up to them and welcome to them and say, you know, have you ever worked on a campaign before? Have you ever helped? Well, come on in. And she'd show them the ropes. And, you know, through thick and thin. And, you know, I just, you know, it's so hard to just, you know, in just a few words, just say how wonderful she is. But, you know, you heard from the Congresswoman, you heard from Mike, you'll hear from others. In the political realm, a lot of times I felt that Linda flew under the radar screen when she was really the person running the whole show. And she was just so compassionate and didn't need a light to shine on her. So, you know, when I heard this news, it has left a hole in my heart. And I realized she was my best friend, and I will miss her, and I love her, and happy birthday. And Leonard, you are a wonderful person, and we will be in touch regularly. And so thank you all.
Bill, we want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing what beautiful memories, those beautiful memories, and the relationship that you and Linda shared. It is so heartwarming and inspiring and touching, and you encapsulated so much. And again, we want to thank you, and we're so sorry for your loss. Well, at this time, we are so very honored to call upon Linda's dear friend and a member of Temple Sinai of Glendale, Flo Cohen.
Thanks, Rabbi. Our friend Linda Luna has died, and her passing has left a large hole in the heart of our Temple Sinai community. Committed, passionate, caring. These are but 3 words our Temple sisterhood would use to describe Linda. No task was too large or too small for her. She was an integral part of every project and every program we undertook. She was one of the first to sign up to help, and often one of the last to leave at the end. And in between, she made sure that no detail was overlooked and no task was left undone. And Bill, you talked about the fact that she didn't need the light to shine upon her. When I was looking for pictures of events about with pictures of Linda in previous events, the only ones I could find had her sitting at a sign-in table or doing something like that. And it was because Linda worked so much in the background. She did not need the light to shine upon her. She did not call attention to herself. She got the job done. Linda was our sisterhood co-president way back in 2010, but leaving office didn't mean she left her commitment to sisterhood. In the early 2010 years, it became clear we needed someone to represent both sisterhood and the temple when renting our facilities for Life Cycle and other events. Linda stepped in and became that person for countless B'nai Mitzvah families and for others. She helped with all the arrangements and took care to see that the integrity of the temple was always protected. After her stint in rental, Linda took over the enormous job of handling our Friday night Oneg Shabbat celebrations with the help of her talented in-house chef extraordinaire and the love of her life, Leonard. She handled all the aspects of the Onegs, from shopping for ingredients to cleaning up at the end. And she always made it look so easy. It certainly wasn't easy, but for Linda, it was a labor of love. Actually, I think that love was Linda's superpower. She was such a good, kind, and generous friend to those of us who got to know her well. She dealt lovingly with our Temple Sinai members, from the youngest child to the oldest senior. She always made herself available to talk, to listen, or to give someone who needed it an attagirl. She remembered to ask about our children and other loved ones, and was known for the wonderful hugs she bestowed so generously. I hate that she's gone, and I hate that we didn't have the chance before she died to tell her in person how much she meant to us. Linda, thank you for your commitment and your service to Temple Sinai in general, and to sisterhood in particular. You made a difference in all of our lives, and you are and will continue to be dearly missed.
Thank you, Flo. Thank you so much for sharing what's in so many of our hearts here at Temple Sinai of Glendale. We so appreciate it. And I'm looking at, the folks who are with us today from all over the country, members of Sisterhood, and I see Rachel Fabulich, who was co-president with Linda for a number of years, and I see Nancy Westhoff, and so many folks, so many people whose lives were touched here at Temple Sinai of Glendale. And Flo, you know how I like to say from time to time at a Sisterhood annual brunch that Temple Sinai doesn't last a week without sisterhood. And clearly with everything that Linda did, Temple Sinai didn't last a day without Linda Luna, and all that she gave us, and the way that she helped everybody, really, as you mentioned, just so inspiring and beautiful. Thank you, Flo. Well, at this time, we are so very honored to call upon Linda's close friend and mentor and retired president of Communication Workers of America, Local 9505, Mr. Eddie Venegas.
I am looking through everybody assembled for Eddie. I don't see him. Eddie, if you are here, please unmute yourself and say hello.
Okay, well, if Eddie joins us in a little bit, we welcome his remarks and his reminiscences. And at this time, we'd be so very honored to call upon Leonard's cousin, Rita Warshaw. Hi, Rita.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Rita, good to see you. Hi, thank you for being with us.
You. Rabbi, I know this is for Linda, but I wanted to thank you for your participation in the Jewish Federation program on Monday. That was a heartfelt production, and I appreciated everyone's participation in it. And if you haven't seen it, it's on the website. Leonard, as you may or may not know, has a large family. We all started out in Detroit. There are still some people in Michigan. We've gone on to New York, Northern California, and in Southern California, he has a whole batch of cousins. He traveled from Detroit to Southern California on his motorcycle. Someday he'll tell you the story. But we had not seen him in a while, and he showed up in full motorcycle regalia, and I had no idea who he was. Who is this? And he showed up at my place of business and was asking for me. And he said, there's this guy out here. Are you sure you want to see him? And it turned out to be Leonard. But we kept in touch over the years. And then lo and behold, he shows up one day with Linda. And as you've all heard, Linda was a caring, kind, loving person. And that is how we all felt about her. All of us cousins in Southern California became Linda and Leonard, and she became a part of the family that we will deeply miss. My granddaughters, who were very young when they met him, but they've been around together, called them the bookends, lovingly called them the bookends, Linda and Leonard, because that's how they'd always known them. They weren't known apart, only together, Linda and Leonard. And it was lovely. And I have said to many people, although I have many cousins, blood cousins, and I love them all, Linda was a cousin of my heart. And I thank you all very much. We will miss her. She will leave a huge hole in our family structure. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you so much for your graciousness and kindness, and for sharing those beautiful and amusing memories of Leonard and Linda. Thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate it. Well, what we'd like to do now at this time is we'd like to invite people, maybe for the next, 5 or 7 minutes, to, if you'd like to share a short, sweet memory of Linda, if you'd like to share that with everybody. We certainly would love to hear and would love to celebrate that. So we'd like you to put, if you're interested in doing that, if you could please say that you'd like to speak, and please put your name in the chat box and say that you'd like to speak, and we will find you and unmute you, and we'd love to hear it. Joyce Moskowitz. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, Rabbi. Am I unmuted? I think I am.
You are.
Yes.
We can hear you. Yes, Joyce. Good to see you.
Yeah, a small recollection from many with Linda is I used to do these vintage jewelry shows, and she would always come, always participate. But she had a love of pearls, and she bought set after set of vintage pearls from me, and it never ceased to amaze me and humored me. Actually, when I would see her at an Oneg, or the very next time after a show, she would come in like she was, I mean, we know her to be low key, and under the radar. She would come in like a peacock. She had the pearls on. She'd go, "Oh, Joyce, what do you think?" And she'd have the pearls on every single time, whether it was a new set or whatever. And when she wore them, I know she felt good. And it was a joy to see her in that moment, enjoying her purchase, but just enjoying herself. So that was Linda.
Thank you for sharing that, Joyce. We can all picture that, and what a great story. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rachel.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Rachel Fabulich is joining us, and there's Mark joining us all the way from the Boston area. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Mark.
Hi. Linda was a very dear friend, and we worked very closely on temple activities together for a long time. Flo asked what our years were that we were sisterhood presidents together, and so I went back into my email to look it up. And every email from Linda starts with, "Hey Rach, what can I bring? Do you need anything? I just found this great little shop in Arcadia and I grabbed, XYZ." Everything with Linda involved food. It was very important to her that everybody stay fed, which is probably why we were all so happy when we were with her. She knew how the world worked. And she was just, I think it was Bill who said that she knew what was needed before you knew it was needed. Or maybe, so somebody else mentioned that she seemed to anticipate what people's needs were before they even came up. She was the most generous person, and so very dearly missed. And I also just want to throw in there that a lot of people have commented on how perfect she and Leonard were for each other. And whenever she spoke about that first day that they met at the union event, she would let me know that he glowed, that there was a light on him. And I'm sure that many others will remember hearing her say that as well. But she knew right from the beginning that he was her person. So thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Mark, for being with us. And Rachel, thank you for sharing those great stories. And yeah, you're reminding you're reminding all of us of the way that she talked about Leonard when she first saw him, that he glowed. My goodness, my goodness. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Mark. Please say hi to the kids for us. So good to see you. Michael Barnum. Michael.
Hello, I am Linda's upstairs neighbor, and I can remember a time several months ago when I was running some errand, or I had something to do, and I just started to talk with Linda just in the midst of that. And I just remember it was the first time I started to really get to know her, like have one of those conversations. And I just remember talking about AT&T and the history of telecommunications. And it was just one of those wonderful conversations where you just lose track of time and you just get carried away. And even though, I'd known Linda so briefly and the interactions I had with her were very limited because it was quarantine, I could immediately see that light that all of us are referring to, that warmth. And I think at the core, that was a conscientiousness. I think that she really cared about what was right and what was just. And I'm glad that that's been something that we've all recognized within her.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you also for reminding us that, a lot of what motivated her remarkable and probably unparalleled civic engagement and leadership and activity and volunteerism was that sense of justice and goodness that was so much a part of her, that she wanted to share with society and have society live out those values. And so thank you for reminding us of that as well, that justice and dignity and goodness for all were so important to her, and she lived that. She walked that. Thank you, Michael. Well, Quinn and Linda, and I think with this we'll conclude our sharing, our sort of verbal sharing, but want to continue to have folks share in the chat box if there's another sweet story or memory or thought about Linda that you have. And we would love to unmute and hear from Quinn and Linda.
Okay, hey guys, Leonard sending you so much love. Linda and I live next door to Linda and Leonard. In fact, this is my Linda, and Leonard would also distinguish between the two of them by saying my Linda. We live next door to Linda and Leonard. Leonard for 15 years, and then this woman started showing up on a regular basis, and her name was also Linda. We're like, oh, this woman Linda's hanging around a lot lately. And then she was our new neighbor, and we adored the two of them. We did everything for each other. We helped carry up groceries and whatnot. But one of my favorite stories about Linda and Leonard is my Linda and I were going away to Europe for an extended vacation for 3 weeks, and we had a dog named Pip that Linda and Leonard were absolutely madly in love with. And they were not even excited that we were going to Europe. They were excited that they got to watch Pip and have Pip live with them for 3 weeks. And they literally every single day would say, only 2 more weeks till you're gone and we get Pip. Only 1 week and 6 days. Like they literally counted down. They could not care that we were going. And they took such good care of her and they treated her so well that she was twice her width when we got home. And she was depressed to come home back to our own home because she had been treated so fabulously by Linda and Leonard for those 3 weeks that she didn't want to come home, and she sat and moped on the couch for a good week when we got home. So they were kind of Pip's godparents. And Leonard actually had mentioned to me at one point that he'd never owned a pet. And Pip was the first pet he kind of owned. And he and Linda just were fabulous to her. And Linda and I are both heartbroken. We haven't lived over there for 4 years now. We had to leave. The landlord, a new owner came in and we had to go. But we've tried to stay in contact and our hearts are broken. Leonard, we love you so much. And as soon as we're able, we're gonna, have you over for dinner and give you the world's biggest hugs. Okay, that's all. Miss you.
Thank you, Quinn. Thank you, Linda. We appreciate that. What a wonderful story and memory. Thank you so much. And we want to thank everyone for sharing these wonderful reminiscences and thoughts and feelings. Loving memories of Linda will be an abiding blessing to us all. And the blessing will be felt all the more strongly the more we share these stories of Linda. So I want to encourage you to reach out to Leonard and Vicky and Olivia and the family and all the folks who spoke, if you know them, and let's continue. And as a Temple community, continue to share stories of Linda, and she will continue to bless us always. Well, Judaism teaches us that when we die, our soul, our spirit dwells eternally with God. We now pray in faith and trust that Linda's beautiful, beautiful soul is bound up in the bond of eternal life, just as her life and her legacy will live forever in our hearts and minds. We pray that Linda is at peace forever. We do so by reciting the traditional Jewish prayer, El Malei Rachamim, God full of compassion. We'll screen share this prayer with you in Hebrew and in English. Cantor will chant the Hebrew, and then we'll all join together in the English. It's traditional to please rise.
El Malei Rachamim, Shachen Bamramim, Hamitzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim U'Taharim, Kezohar HaRakia, Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Sarah Bat Avraham Sarah, Shalcha Le'olama, Baal HaRachamim, Yastirah B'Seiter Kenafav Le'olamim, V'yitror b'tzoror HaChaim et Nishmata, Adonai hu nachalata, V'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava, V'nomar Amen.
Together we pray. Fully compassionate God on high, to our loved one, Linda, who has entered eternity, grant her clear and certain rest with you in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold her in the embrace of your wings. Secure her soul in eternity. Adonai, she is yours. May she rest in peace. And together we say, Amen. And we invite you to remain standing as we now share together in the Mourner's Kaddish, a prayer in which we thank God that Linda was with us. So we'll again share the screen. And if you know the Mourner's Kaddish, we invite you to join us at home. If you're not familiar with it, there's a way that you can still participate. It's in Hebrew and Aramaic, but there's a word that we all know, Amen, and that's going to come after I say the word V'imru. And the word V'imru is going to occur at least 4 times or so, and Jason's listing it right there in the transliteration. So right after we say V'imru, we'll say Amen together. We'll all participate in this prayer, thanking God that Linda was with us. Together we pray. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divarach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'b'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei d'kudesha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all of us who mourn, and may we each be a source of comfort to all of us who are bereaved. And together we say, Amen. And please be seated, everybody.
It's always our custom at TSG to conclude the Kaddish with a prayer for peace, which is part of the Kaddish and the way it ends. Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. So we'll put the words back on the screen for you all, and please feel welcome to sing along with me. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
We want to again thank everyone for being here tonight, for sharing tonight. Your presence was a blessing. And now we go forth to life, each one of us, as cherished memories of Linda shine in our hearts.
Thank you. Good night.
If people would like to unmute and say hello to Leonard, say hello to the family.
We love you, Leonard.
Good to see you. We'll be talking.
We
Yes.
will.
I still miss Pip a lot.
Linda's there with Pip now.
Yeah.
Leonard, thank you for sharing Linda with us. And we miss her very, very much. We send our love and our hugs to you and
Thank
hope
you.
to be able to do that in person soon.
Thank you.
Love you, Leonard.
Good to see you, Doug.
You know, it's Joe and I here on Kauai.
Ah,
So much for including us and including Justin. It was so beautiful, and God bless you.
I'm glad you could make the service.
Absolutely, it was beautiful. Thank you, thank you.
I'm ready to go.
oh,
Well, I'll miss Linda, and it was good to know her when I did. And I love you, Leonard.
Oh, done. Love you, Leonard. Take care.
Hi, Eugene.
Everybody, great to celebrate Linda.
And
Hello out to everybody.
This is a video stopped. Leonard, this is Marty and Layla.
thank you for joining us.
Well, we want you to know how much we love you and how much we miss Linda.
Well, I'm glad you could make it to the service today.
I'm glad too, Leonard.
I'm glad that Linda got a chance to meet Winter and that she and you flew out here to meet her and affect her life. And the young picture of her with a giant bottle of wine is hilarious.
I don't know what to do.
What Representative Chu didn't say is I received a package that was delivered today, actually yesterday night sometime. And it's a certificate from United States Congress honoring Linda for all the good she's done for her community and the difference she's made and stuff. I was very touched. Soft, nice black wood frame and, you know, in gold and everything. I was really touched by that. But Judy has been a good friend to both of us and her husband, Mike.
Hi, Leonard.
How are you holding up?
Not well.
Oh.
But I wouldn't miss this. I love you, and I miss you and Linda.
I missed you too.
Hey, Leonard, this is Pat and Steve.
Leonard?
Hey, we're thinking of you. We miss you so much. We miss Linda too.
You people have carried the world so far with that twinkle that she had in her eyes. You know, she was a wonderful person.
You remember when she had her bat mitzvah, her adult bat mitzvah? She was so proud, and it was just amazing.
Right.
Her love for Judaism is so inspiring. Remember?
She glowed.
Yes.
Did you get
She
a copy
did.
of that picture of her at her bar mitzvah?
I think I have one.
I'll have to email it to you. I have a
Please
blow up.
do. Oh, I'd love to. Oh, look, there she is. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember that. That was so
I remember
amazing.
She was so proud that day.
Oh, yeah. Well, what she accomplished was amazing. And again, you can't say it often enough. Her love for Judaism was just an inspiration to all of
Mr.
us.
Sash.
Growing up, her best
No, I'll
friend
give you
was
peace.
Jewish.
Yeah.
And she always told her
No, no,
family
no.
she was
Give
going
me your
to
sash. I need your sash. No, sash. Yep.
And that's my nephew, Julian.
Ah.
And Linda just loved his daughter, Mars.
We got to.
My great niece.
On behalf of, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just, my name is Jan Tokumaru, and I just want to thank everyone for sharing. I knew Linda before she met Leonard for quite a number of years because we both came out of the same union. We both worked for the phone company. In fact, I think it's before her time in the company, I was a member of that local 9505, but then I relocated. But we gained a lot of, or I shouldn't say gain, we bonded a lot over our work in the constituency groups because we joined all the different constituency groups. She was more active, or she was active in many of them, including Apollo, which I was also. And I could echo a lot of the things that people said throughout the evening, and I really appreciate people sharing all of that. And I guess I would just say again what many people have spoken to, which is, the change, the beautiful change that came over her after getting together with Leonard. Thank you, Leonard. But she was quite a bright light before that as well. It's just that it was changed, and she was truly happy. And she always continued to be a hard worker, very thoughtful, very generous person, coworker, and friend. So, yeah. And I remember hearing a lot of the stories that people were relating. It's funny because she would always talk about her cousins. She always talked about the dogs and Pip and how exciting it was when they were dog sitting, and so many different stories. But I think the good thing is that I think she will be a good influence on all of us. So I would want to celebrate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you
for that. On behalf of Temple Sinai, I really want to thank all of you for being part of this very moving ceremony. And we're going to post the video of it up on our YouTube channel later tonight. So if you know anyone who wasn't able to be here with us, you can refer them there and they can experience it too. And I'd just like to say good night to you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, Leonard.
Night.
Night.
Good night.
Barbara.